Hello and welcome back to another fun session of Defenders of with the Flame. I swear I can speak. I will at some point get this down. So, we're returning again. We have all of our wonderful players here today. We got, let's see, how does this go? We got Asker right over there. We have Zestrava on the right of her. We have Mila down in the bottom left. And then we have Cypher. I don't remember why are names so hard for me today? It's just every day. And then Shirku in the middle.
Hello, everybody.
So, Mila, if you wouldn't mind kicking us off with a recounting of the tales of the last session.
Indeed, and so the party gathered their fallen NPC ranger companion and transported him back to town for a funeral close to the residence that he lived in before. After that, they returned to the owner of a bookshop that they had been to before, who is evidently an old and powerful mage who shared some ancient lore with them, gave them a few items before bidding them on their way. And now the party has come to the port to decide which vessel they will embark on for their journey out into the ocean and hopefully to the tropical isle to the southeast of the western continent.
Oh boy, I sure hope we don't run into any krakens on the way.
Krakens, yeah, that's the thing to worry about out in the sea.
Evil DM smile.
What are you talking about? It's perfectly happy DM smile. The DM is perfectly happy thinking about all of the Krakens and other mischievous wonders that he can bring upon you.
You could always do a sea dragon. That'd be fun.
No, it's actually a siren. Have you ever heard his wonderful singing voice?
Most people have not. So,
yes.
You guys find yourselves out on the town, in the middle of the... I'm sorry if did you describe the three different ships?
Okay. So there's the large imperial ship, owned possibly by Father Ironguard of the kingdom to the east, an official imperial vessel, and then I forget the details on the other two.
There was a smaller ship with like a gold in front. Let me pull up the exact specifics of it. And then the bow of the other one was golden. It looked like it was a smaller ship. There weren't a lot of cannons on it whatsoever, and by not a lot, there was 4. And then the other ship had more of like a bony structure, like a lot. It looked like parts of it you would almost say were made of bone, but looked like wood. And bone, it doesn't seem like it'd be that great of a material. But which that one currently was not flying a flag whatsoever. The merchant ship was flying a flag from the capital of why am I thinking different names? Me and names are not getting along today. Of Ashenridge, and capital of Ashenbrook. And then, well, the Nefarian was flying the Roland flag. And I believe you all had turned to ask her to see if she would... what her thoughts were on taking which ship.
Well, that looks like bone, which is a wonderfully interesting material to build a ship out of. But I don't think that Flomine would like us riding in the dead bodies of things like that. And I'm pretty sure that if I go talk to that captain over on the big one, which has a lot more cannons, which is great, it leaves a lot more spots for birds to come perch on when they get tired and we're close to the shore. It's my favorite part about sailing. I'm pretty sure if I go tell them that Daddy will pay for all of our trip, that they'll be more than happy to agree to that. So, as Asker just starts.
I wonder if Rolla would have any stories about the Isle of the Fairies or whatnot.
Not really.
Fair enough.
I only answer that because I know I haven't necessarily discussed that. Most people, like, there are stories of the Fae Island from basically millennia ago.
A few thousand years, yeah.
But no one's even thought to venture forth there. Or maybe they have.
You're probably also just gonna
It
hear
might just be
Cypher muttering.
a shipwreck zone.
Cypher's just
Just
gonna
what we'll want to send
Bone
them
is a
straight into.
surprisingly
They'll
good
love that.
material.
So Cypher likes the idea of the bone ship.
Dude,
I think all of them reek of human, so I'm going to have to negotiate either way. So it doesn't matter too much to me.
Mila, what if we hire all of them? I'm pretty sure that we could fund it.
Oh no. That might start a war.
The only way you're funding that is if you get your father to pay for it somehow.
Totally
Great
pay for it.
grandfather. Yeah, same thing.
Potato.
Oh yeah, no. One ship.
I know how the chain of command works. I go to Dad, who then goes up, who goes up, who goes up.
So y'all are
One ship, ask me.
You do see that it looks like the Roland ship has a couple of crew members who are going through and carrying different bits of wood and materials up to it. The rain is pouring down heavily. Just to go back over and redescribe, you do see that the captain of, well, admiral of the Nefarian is a winged dragonborn with reddish scales, with two swords. He's about 7 feet himself. He has two swords on his back which fill the entire length of his body and are almost touching the ground. And he's just sternly just staring out with his hat, just keeping the rain from hitting his eyes and just watching his crew work. Meanwhile, there's as you're getting closer, you see the rain just seeming to be bouncing off of one gentleman, Fey gentleman. Has red skin, a light reddish skin. His ears are long, and he seems to be commanding people and telling them where to go. I don't know if... Ask her, make a history check on that one. And Cypher, make a history check.
One of those was good, and it was not the first one.
I forgot I had minimized my character sheet.
You're good.
I'll just look at Asker and be like, well, I know who Admiral Gojira is, but do you know who the other one seems to be?
I don't know who either of them are.
How do you not know the Admiral of Rolla?
Mila's going to mess with some fish.
He didn't come into the library in the castle very often. I didn't get my freedom until very recently. And got my freedom is a rough word. My friend taught it to me. She says that it's when you're not stuck behind walls is what freedom is. That's how she lives with her family.
Cypher, you would recall the Red Fae is an Eladrin who is named, in this form, when he's in the summer form, he's named Kai. He switches, he has 4 different forms. One which is a blue of winter, where she goes by the name of Aster. One where she is a more like autumny fall colors, where she goes by the name Rowan, and then one where he's green and goes by the name of Hawthorne. He is one of the prominent. He is basically the war mage of Roland military.
I do believe that's quite the big wig over there. If I recall, this current iteration is Kai. And I don't know if we want to get involved with a war mage. That just seems messy.
Asker just looks at you and goes, "Aren't you a war mage?"
No. I'm a wizard of a specialty that recycles.
I mean, recycling is good. That's good for the environment and should be made more prominent. I'll make sure that I draw up more legislation so that we can get more of your kind spread around. You're the first recycle wizard I've ever met. This seems like it's a problem.
Mila's going to go over towards like the waterfront, eyes staring in the water, tail flicking. She watches.
Asker's gonna walk up to the big boat.
Is Asker walking by herself or no?
No.
Draco's going to probably stay near Mila because he doesn't know what the fuck to do or what's going on.
Did Cypher and I get some sort of like writ or anything as well as a compass, or just the compass?
You would have a writ as well.
Okay.
It would be signed. The writ would actually be signed by Gaelic Iron Guard.
And the writ's to bring back this errant Iron Guard, Asker.
I don't think to bring back, just to secure.
I'm completely secure.
As you start walking up, there are 2 soldiers who see you guys as they're carrying, and they see that you're trying to I'm assuming trying to go up to the
Yeah, I'm just walking on.
Excuse me, ma'am. Excuse me. Do you stop or keep going?
Nope, I'm just gonna keep going.
Wait.
I have to go talk to the person in charge.
And you watch as they start to.
Wait.
Oh.
You see what I just fucking rolled?
They start to like drop their things to like pull out. They have pistols at the side, and they see that, and they. How are you intimidating them?
Oh, I'm just looking at them dead in the eye and say, "How dare you talk to your future leader like that? Do you not realize who this is? She comes on this boat for an inspection to talk to the Admiral Gojira himself, and this is what you do? You don't even recognize her? How dare you?"
Mila does some people watching.
Draco can't help but chuckle.
Like, you notice that a part of him still wants to pull out the gun, but he's also just like, And they're just gonna be intimidated back, and not necessarily stop. So Asker makes her way up to the top of the deck. A lot of the soldiers aren't paying attention just because of how bad the rain is. But seeing you, Kai looks over and is like, looks to you and quizzically. Now what is your business here?
Well, I'm Asker Ironguard, Princess of Rowan, and I would like a ride on your ship to a fancy magical fairy island.
What's the name of the island?
Also, all books that you have pertaining to this island, I would also like to look over. I will return them
Oh, it's just paradise.
before our adventure gets there.
No, books are like a human and fae thing.
So you're telling me you're the lost princess, and you think that we're just going to take you back to some backwater?
Yes.
And we're not going to take you back to the Rolla?
I mean, if you try to, I could probably beat you in one-on-one combat, and then when I have slain you, I will leave back to my adventures.
Quote slay.
I'm almost tempted to take you up on that offer. If you're even who you say you are.
I could do the big floppy wing thingy, but it kind of hurts my eyes, and I forget things when I do that, so...
I don't think you would want to risk committing patricide. Is that what it is?
Regicide, I believe, is the word you're
Regicide.
looking for.
Ew. But no, we don't want to commit regicide. And Cypher, get up here.
See, my recycle wizard here has a special compass that'll tell you that I'm, in fact, actually the princess. You should know that. But granted, I haven't really seen you around the castle, so I guess maybe you wouldn't know that, and that would make sense as to why we're a little confused. I'm sorry about this misunderstanding. I feel like I've put some pieces together now.
I take out the writ.
Cypher goes up to the captain.
The captain, where you guys are at as you're coming up is like the main deck. The captain's up on the top deck by the wheel.
Asker's just gonna wait towards him.
He's gonna look down. See that Kai's
I've read a lot
not
of
handling
stories about
things.
people who look like you. You're all really cool.
And he's just gonna start moving. And as he does move, you feel like you can hear the rain's heavy, but his thuds, because he's decked out in full heavy armor, is as he's coming down to you three. Since Shirku and Mila are you guys still off the ship? Shirku and Mila?
Yes.
Yep. Shirku's just crossing out his arms waiting.
He just starts slowly walking down.
So,
Towards us?
No, to the other three.
Okay.
Cypher's gonna bring up, well, we need travel, and if you're short on any crew members, all my friends are very able-bodied and ready to work for you.
Now, what do you know about actual travel on sea? Are you able
Well,
to? What was that?
I got here, so I feel like I've done pretty good so far. I make a pretty good bird watch out. It's how you know that you're close to shore when they come and land on the boat. I know that.
And what makes you think that you're any better than any of the 50 men that I have helping man this ship?
I have more money than them?
That's some good proof right there.
Okay, Shirku has to laugh if he hears it.
A sheer blissful,
Huh. As Gojira, Admiral Gojira gets down and hears that. You are an Iron God, aren't you?
I told you that when I first walked on board. There was those nice men who looked like they were going to threaten me, but my very wonderful friend over there stopped them from that. It would be bad if regicide happened on this boat. That's the word of the day now.
Clearly.
It looks like you were going to hand something over to show proof. He looks to Sestrava.
I hand over the writ and say, I have heard many fine things about you from my father and brother who run mercantile ships along Rola's southern coastline.
What's their name? He takes it as he takes the ritual scroll or the writ and starts looking it over and reading it as it's getting wet and he's just not caring.
I'll let him know my dad's name, let him know my eldest brother recently took over the fleet. His name is Azatil.
From one of the southern cities, I assume?
Yes.
At least he's not one of those pirates. Otherwise, he wouldn't be sailing. He looks it over. So you're wanting a trip back to Rolla?
No, I don't actually know what the place is called. We're actually taking one of my friends back to her home, not my home. It'd be rude to go home before you took all your friends home, right?
Well, he looks to Zashava. So we're taking you back to where you're from?
Oh, don't I handsomely wish sometimes with this motley crew, but no. We are venturing to the southern Isle of Paradise. I point to Mila, who is doing her adorable things by the shore. Where's that one?
Yeah, just like
from?
on all four and was just like probably sticking the tail in the water and doing like a striped tail to try and lure a fish up.
Shark is just still standing there glaring. He looks getting annoyed waiting.
Roll a survival check, Mila.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Well, I guess she caught a fish to eat.
Hey, that's a natural one. Start this adventure off hot, boys.
I shoot a fish
I love the
dragging Hila
misadventures
away.
of this crew.
You're just having your tail down, and then you do feel a bite. Just a little sharper than you were expecting. You take 5 points of damage.
And yeah, Mila like
As
screeches and like jumps and like starts running off in a direction maybe with the fish on the tail.
As you screech and jump, your tail goes flapping, and you watch as the piranha and then lands into the water and swims away.
This is gonna be where Cypher's like, I didn't even think those were native in this area.
Mila?
Looks for her ecology book.
Just like runs like I don't know, maybe into a box or something.
Mila, the piranha's gone.
She'll like look up and just be like
Besides, I'm sure upon our journey, as we all know, Asker has a web of books. Perhaps you, Admiral, would have some on Navy battles or other some such that would actually be beneficial for her to read.
I believe you'll find most of the books would be Kai's department.
Are there any laws that you needed changed on the taxation of seafare at the moment? I could always put in a good word for you on that front as well.
Oh dear.
wow, the blatant corruption. I love it.
What type of ship do you think this is?
Some kind of merchant vessel that also probably seems to deal with pirates. You have a lot of cannons on here. I assume that you're making a decent profit on bounties for pirates. But
Merchants.
I don't...
this is the Grand this is our fleet ship. Have you been literally coddled so much that you don't even understand that we're at war?
We're at war?
Yes, with Asda.
With who? You have a very raspy voice. It's very hard to understand you sometimes.
That sounds like that voice hurts.
Asda is our neighbors to the north. The desert dwellers who hate that Gaelic came years ago and brought the truth.
Well, then clearly they're wrong and in violation of the laws and need to be punished to the fullest extent.
It's true. Gaelic just won't see that. He tries to look for peace. His old age. What was that, Aska?
Peace tends to be a better option as long as they understand that once they've been slain that they need to understand what you tell them to do.
He pulls out his sword. No peace for them. And as he just even does that, you watch as the ship just shatters there. And as it shatters, you notice that it's not just wood. Like, wood would have given out a lot easier. This is almost like it's like an iron reinforced wood that just goes.
I clearly have picked the best ship for this. Where I hear that we're going is some kind of scary ship graveyard thing, and this ship seems a lot stronger than those ships. Those were our other options. She points to smaller ships next to them, but they didn't have as many cannons, so I didn't feel as safe.
Shirku, do you think this is going well?
You guys, Shirku and Mila, you would have heard the.
I just hear that and go, huh, that's quite the swing.
Why are they munching a boat?
I don't know, I opened this to it. That sounds like it's going very well, considering.
Oh, good.
It could be much, much worse.
Mila kind of head closer.
Are you talking about the old Fae Island? You notice as Kai perks up his ears towards that.
One and the same.
Sorry, water is needed.
And if you're looking for items to help with the war, I mean, I couldn't imagine why else the man of war would be this far from Rolla in a time of war. Perhaps we could find some invaluable resources in paradise.
We're this far because it's the best place to accrue wood for the other ships. Not that that wood will help fix this ship, as he looks down at the now destroyed part of the wood. I'll have to have one of my mages here to fix that up. Why are you planning on heading to this Fey realm?
We have one very sick lizard. Homesick lizard, rather.
I want to write a book about it.
Huh. And
Mila starts coming closer and
I would say at this
sort of curiously sniffing and looking at miscellaneous stuff, because I'm assuming there's some stuff for the ship on the dock, like boxes or something.
there are. Most of it seems to have been gathered already up. Like, the workers you notice are going as quick as they can without falling and trying to avoid slipping too much. Excuse me. So why shouldn't we take you back to Rolla? Gaelic must be worried sick of you.
Because I'm on an adventure writing a book, and I'll put you in the book if you don't take me home.
Huh. And why would I care about you? Oh, sorry about that. What was that, Sistrava? Or lady?
Admiral Gojira, if you know the capital and the king as well as you currently do, you must realize what a disadvantage Asker was at in her traditional schooling and raising. And, well, I'm sure from your years of military adventures, you know that real-world experience is much better than being being kept up in an iron cage in a castle, in a library. So perhaps we let the princess continue her adventure. You never know. And it's safer out here than in a country at war.
It may be safer out here, but it won't be safer there.
I would like to bring up, you would also have a future ruler who owes you a favor, and that can be very valuable.
We can discuss your tax plans again.
Sure, or many other favors.
Are favors not always just dealt with laws?
No, sometimes they're dealt with by marriage.
Oh.
Or advantageous gifts of land or titles.
Asker just looks the Dragonborn up and down now and goes, shrug, okay.
Oh. So it may give us time to make sure she is ready for the trip. And if she's not, we can always just fly them away back to Rolla.
Does this ship fly?
Get your other ones with us. We're here to set sail in about an hour. And he's stomp, 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 stomp back up to right by his post where he was at.
I'd like
Mila
him.
hears the stomping and does an alert, perking up and watches goes along and is very intrigued. And this is the one that had the red heavy armor, right?
He's red scales and heavy
Red
plate
scales.
armor. He's a
Okay.
dragonborn, and he does have wings.
Are you curious, Mila?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he seems to be the strength of the ship. And he has scales too.
You wanna go see him?
Mm-hmm. Should.
Alright.
And so, Mila and Shirku head towards on board.
As you guys head on up, most of the crew aren't really worried because they see that you were with them. Kai's looking at you all over. So what skills do you all have that can be of use during the travels?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I can fight, and Mela will do an unsettling visage to just burst into fangs, teeth, spines.
Huh. Is that a saving throw? Or...
Yeah, I believe. Yes, I believe so. Sorry, this is what you linked to me earlier.
Okay.
And if it's the same as the spell save DC, it's 15.
Wisdom?
Yes.
Interesting.
And I am formally trained in the Bardic College of Lore. I'd be most happy to entertain your shipmates before they at meals or wherever you may need.
Alright.
Oh, I'll
So
also be talking
Shantier.
to the Leviathans.
Interesting.
Leviathan? What?
Yeah,
He looks...
creatures in the sea.
Ugh.
What about you? Looking to Shirku?
Fighter. Mainly fight demons. Demon corrupted. Survived alone most of the time until I ran into her.
Any chance you're any good with aiming anything? Or are you just more of one of those martial people? And you do see he has a long scimitar on the side of his belt.
I'm much better at being martial, but I can aim.
So
Not
you
as well
might be
as
of
others.
some help on some of the cannons. What about you, looking to Cypher?
Just your run-of-the-mill wizard. I can do a few fixes here and there, cast some nice little spells, keep all of us safe.
Are any of those spells directed towards the use on a ship?
I would say yes.
Well, then I will have you work with my 4 mages that I have on board, and we'll see what that you can do. Look,
My pleasure.
looking to ask her. So, Princess, are you going to be sitting up in the little watchtower, trying to keep an eye out for things and avoiding danger?
I could do that, but I'd mostly look at birds. I'm also very well trained in shield and spear combat, as well as just being generally dexy. I'm pretty good at climbing up and down the tower and doing ropes and stuff if you need. Also, I hear that you're the one with all the books.
I am one of the premier mages of Rolla.
Have you ever been to the castle?
Yes. Gaelic likes to talk with me.
Would Asgar have seen him before?
Roll a history check. You remember hearing something of a visitor from another realm. And every so often you would see Gaelic walking next to one of 4 people. One of them was Kai, who's standing in front of you. But sometimes he would be walking with someone else who was of a different colored skin, like a strange, different shade of like either blue or orange.
You
or
look
green.
like someone who I've seen at the castle a few times. Do you have brothers who are like multicolored versions of yourself?
No, I'm an Eladrin, a special case.
Eladrin. She just has the notebook at the ready. Special case. Anything else to add?
We'll see.
We'll see.
If you all don't mind, how long have you all been traveling together?
Well, Cypher and I have been.
It feels like a lifetime.
Yeah.
I've been traveling with Shirku for a while. I think those 2 have been traveling for a while, and we met Asker like a month ago? And Mila has no sense of time on this.
I seem to lose most of my companions after about a month or so. So, I think I'm on week 2 with these ones.
No comment.
I would like y'all to test where you're all standing at.
Mm-hmm. How so?
He
Ask
pulls
her,
out
like,
his
a little
sword.
bit.
Clear the deck! And you watch as all of the sailors kind of back off and gives you guys about 30 feet of open squares to move around and stuff like that.
Oh, that's what we're testing.
We're going to slay each other. Wonderful.
Could you stop using the word slay?
Why? It's the right word to use. It's when you beat someone in combat.
Interesting. I would like you all to try and hit me. And you just watch as he takes a stance, and then he just starts slowly swaying and moving. I'd like you all to attempt to attack him. However you would like.
Alright then.
Who's... If you'd like to roll initiative, you can.
That would probably be for the best.
Yeah, let's go
Make
for
it fair.
initiative first.
Okay. 15. So Mila and Asker, who has the better dex?
+9, because I have alert.
It would just be, so yours is +4. Asker's is a 20. Okay, Asker, then Mila, then Shirku, then Sastrava, then Cypher.
Dex built paladin.
Expel Paladin.
You watch as he's seen this happen, Gojira is kind of just smile, like the weird smile of a dragonborn, just creepily, like he's having a fun little joke at what he's about to see.
Enjoying yourself, I see.
Asker's just gonna look up at him and like do one of these waves.
Okay. Asker, you're first.
Alright, I'm gonna start it off with my net.
As you throw it, you watch as Kai just nimbly and dances out of the way. Not bad for someone who's been cooped up.
And then the back end of the spear.
Aren't you level... I think you are level 5. Oh.
It's a bonus action for the back end of the spear.
As you go to back end, he just goes through and shifts a little bit, and you have to move a little more, and then the rocking of the boat sways, and you just fall over because not used to through it, but you're able to stumble back up without really losing too much ground, and he's just like, while you're on a boat, you're going to need to pay attention to how everything goes. You're going to have to feel the movement beneath you. The swaying.
This is very different.
And Mila's like watching attentively and is like on all four and feeling and like very much watching this, and she'll start to like circle a bit as they're fighting, trying to pick out a good time.
Anything else from Asker?
Not for this turn.
Mila?
Mila will take her hands and bop it onto the ground and try to make a spike growth from the wood of the ship up to make it into difficult terrain on a 20-foot radius around him, since he was mentioning to watch our step.
Nice. Each moves into the area, into or within the area, takes 2d4 for each 5 feet. The ground camouflage to look natural. Doesn't really look natural at this point right now.
No,
But,
I figured that little bit of flavor text is a little bit out, but...
Okay. So he just watches as the spike is around him. Smart little lady.
And Mila's like very cautious and like very much keeping like the front facing towards him, and seems to be pretty cautious from here and is otherwise circling and low to the ground.
Alright. Next up is Shirku.
All right. So we're set up with our paladin in front of him.
Yep.
You circled around him, I believe.
And just created a spike growth. So to get close to him, you're going to have to walk through the spike growth.
Yep. Sorry about that, Shirku.
Yeah, that's fine.
Hope you have ranged.
Oh, I do partially. 20-foot radius. Da, da, da. 5 feet it travels. Oh dear.
Yeah. Spike growth is a wonderful spell.
That's it.
Used for my Sunday game. It was a bit of a pain for my boss.
Alright, so in that case, how far away am I from him?
I'd say you're about 7 feet.
7 feet?
It's not the large of an area.
Alright, yeah, I can reach up just fine. First up, Echo right behind him.
Nice.
Not technically moving through.
I haven't seen this type of magic before. Interesting.
And from there, I give an attack. Ooh.
That. Let's see. 15, 20. You watch as you're about to hit, and he just deflects it with his sword. Good on you.
Echo Fury.
Cypher, make a perception check as you're doing that. As he does that. You don't catch it? Okay.
Oh, I apparently do not.
Okay, I use my extra attack.
Yep, I saw. All of your things are being whispered. That misses.
That was my Echo Fury.
Yep.
Now for my extra attack.
He deflects that again. You're good. You are very skilled.
Action Surge. Okay, and I do my basic attack again.
That misses.
Echo Fury.
That misses. One of them swings wide as he ducks underneath it, not really moving, and then the other one he has to block again.
Extra. Okay, let's do the extra attack.
You've already. Oh, Echo Fury is a bonus action, isn't it? I believe.
The extra attack isn't a bonus attack though, or bonus action.
Is it just okay? It's just you have a resource that you use as you make it. Okay.
Yeah, extra attack is you can attack twice instead of once every turn.
Oh no, it's not the extra attack. It's the Echo Fury. Is to use its ability to attack. Is that a bonus action?
No, I can use it whenever I attack.
Okay, sorry. It's been a
So
little.
basically, when I do the extra attack, I can do it again.
Yep.
Speaking of Echo Fury,
So you just watch as a flurry of Shirku's swiping with his halberd, and there's 3 of them that get really close and look like they should have hit, but he's just able to deflect it. The rest, he's able to go wide and just move around without moving throughout the spike growth.
all right, former bonus action.
Backhand.
No, I use my tunnel fighter and take the tunnel fighter stance.
Nice. Next up is the Strava.
Oh, you had noted earlier, right, that it was raining, but he wasn't getting rained on, right?
Yep, the rain is just Just for some sort of force field blocking it.
That's 7 attacks with 3.
So I'm just going to like look at him and wink and be like, I know my strengths, and I'm sure I know yours, but I promise I can be useful in other ways. Now the deckhands at least will not be getting rained on, and I'm sure that'll make everyone a little bit less miserable. I'll just bow a little bit and step back.
As you start casting that spell, he recognizes it. Huh. Good. Smart on you to have that. It's a great spell to have when y'all traveling throughout the area. He looks to Cypher.
Yo.
It's your turn.
Well,
So I just have to hit you. And if that's the case, 3 little screaming skulls are gonna pop up in Cypher's hand. Go, my children. Magic missile.
I was waiting for that.
You watch as all 3 of them look like they're about to impact and fizzle as they hit some sort of shield.
Oh, that's just not fair.
Oh.
Well, we each had our individual attempts. Now what as a party?
As he's like, as you say that, he's like, looking around. I think that you'll do well. You'll at least be not a nuisance. He's gonna look at the spike growth, and you watch as his hands move. That's in his one free hand, and he casts a spell on it, and it just goes back to normal. The flurry of attacks from you. What's your name?
Sure.
Shirku. You have a ferocity in you that'll be useful. Your intelligence to use to play into your strengths and instead of trying to accept the bait that shows wise and cunning from you. What is your name?
Which one's the Strava?
Yeah, he's looking at Strava.
I'm Strava.
Good to meet you.
I don't want big damn stuff. I want big
You
dice.
as well.
Oh.
I showed you a picture of him, right?
Is there a lot of background
There
noise?
is a lot of background noise. I was like, how to best address that?
I hear keep.
Sorry,
Oh.
You're good.
everyone just got home and is talking in the living room all of a sudden.
Your ability to go through and instead of trying to hit, create a opportunity for yourself. That takes some cunning and intelligence on that part as well. What is your name? He looks at you, Mila.
Mila gets very nervous with this and will skitter up the mast
That one.
and be very shy.
Her name is Mila.
Good to meet you. He looks as he starts chuckling. Predictable, but reliable. Magic missile is always a smart way to go. Your name?
Oh, you did say just to hit you, and I am Cypher's Silverwing.
Oh, you're his boy.
Uh-oh.
Interesting.
Whose boy do you mean?
I know your old master.
Oh. What do you know about him?
That's for me to know and you to find out.
Story of my life.
And he like looks at you, Asker. Fitting for a little princess who's out of her depth.
I bet if that net hit you, that Shirku would have gotten you. I was just playing to my personal strengths, which is helping them play to their strengths.
Just because I had my echo get behind him doesn't mean I was going to get him. If that first attack wasn't going to hit, then I doubted any of my others would have hit. Rather, this was at least amusing.
You would have hit me if I hadn't used my magic to protect me. You're a skilled fighter, I've met many a skilled fighter as well. It's just when you're in a combat of skill, you need to understand your opponent's skills and use them to your advantage.
That's so.
Oh, can Mila see the Dragonborn from up here?
Yes.
Because that was the other one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mila will watch as he goes about, as they're loading and everything.
He's just watching over everything, and he like sees you up there, and like gives a look of interesting, and then continues looking back and surveying.
Mila, why can I just like picture you like transforming into like a sugar glider dinosaur and just be like, ah?
Well,
I mean, there is like Pteranodon, but yeah.
Yeah.
Right now she's more of lizard with very like wide fingers and some claws to like support her weight up on the mast with tail wrapped around.
But yes, it's fascinating to meet a duelist here.
To say that I'm a duelist would be to like saying that I'm not a mage. I studied in both arts, both of the sword and of the magic.
Eldritch Knight, you mean?
It's more of a dance to me.
Oh, that's what you're doing. I dispel my echo before looking over to Mila. All right. Enjoying your perch up there?
It's nice up here. I'm waiting till we leave.
Auden, come and fix the ship up. And you watch as one of the other mages in like brown robes comes up. It's like, and you hear under his breath anyone with a passive above 14, damn Gojira, as he starts casting mending on the ship.
If I could hear that, I bet everybody could. My comments.
He kind of like gets like a paler face as he hears that, and he's a younger mage. He looks like he's probably like only 19, 20. And Cypher, you would recognize on his marks that he's a apprentice mage. Like, these ones only at best know how to cast one first level spell.
He's in the place to say something like that, Shirku. I've been there.
Well, at least he's able to. He has the luxury.
Kind of like turns, and you like see him like doing some calculations. Who's all okay sleeping in the same barrack?
I'm fine sleeping anywhere.
You've slept in worse.
You four, and he points to 4 different ones. Find a friend. You get to go into their beds now. You all will have to deal with the 4 beds. Sorry, we don't normally have lose weight. And then you watch as he turns and starts going and starts calling out orders as they've finished gathering all of the materials. Is there anything anyone's particularly looking out for or wanting to do?
Mila's just watching the Dragonborn up on the mast.
He's now put one hand on the wheel as he's starting to get ready to steer. Okay.
And no other preparations, really.
Asker's gonna go find Kai's room.
Are you following Kai? Or are you just looking for Kai's room?
I'm just looking for Kai's room. He's busy doing things. I'm gonna go find his library.
Interesting. So you have the captain's deck ship that's right underneath the mast. As you go underneath, you see along the hulls there's one door that looks like it's a little bit nicer, like immediately when you get down there, and then a lot of like open doors to a lot of like different bunk areas.
I'm opening the nice door.
It's locked.
I'm going to sit in front of the nice door.
Just waiting.
He's gotta come back sometime.
Okay. Anyone else? What are you all doing at the moment as they're all going about?
I am going to go rest. You're spending time in a magic library. I am tired.
Oh, I forgot to add that subplot.
Yeah, someone had exhaustion.
Just a little bit. I will try to strike up a tune on the panther that's not too distracting, but yet encourages them and gives them some pep in their step as they make preparations to get underway.
Are you doing normal? Very nice. Nice 29.
Sorry,
You're
I could have
good.
waited for you.
Are you doing like sea shanties, or are you doing other things that they wouldn't commonly be?
I will start with some sea shanties from like my hometown on the southern coast of Rolla. So perhaps if they're homesick, that'll give them some remembrance of that, and then move on to some of the other songs that I learned throughout the different taverns on our travels.
As you start that up, you do notice that you hear some accompanying drums start going, and you actually see that they have like 3 or 4 bards that are there that are actually listening to you and supporting your performance. Not nearly as good as necessarily you are, but it's nice to have a little
Ensemble.
Yes.
Awesome.
So they instantly recognize she's better than us. They're going to support you.
I'll give a nod to each of them as I play and try to give them a couple of chances to like feature their own abilities.
Nice. They're all good. I mean, you don't get onto the ship without being good, but they're not rolling with a +11 and rolling a 29 to start things off.
That is pretty top class. It's a baby.
Sorry, Kitty. Kitty is distracting for all of us. Shirku, what are you doing? Are you... Because you've never been on a ship before, Shirku.
Yeah, Shirku has not. He'd be exploring. He'd be investigating the ship, and
He has no idea for the seasickness to come. Whereas Mila's like used to being perched up on this from a previous bit.
but yeah, he'd be checking those cannons that was mentioned, the ship itself, how it's structured, the masts,
Okay.
the different ropes that are given, so on.
Very nice. So as you get closer to some things, you watch as some of the crew are kind of looking at you like, you lazy bum. And they're like, are you not going to help us? As they start like heaving and rolling out the mast and stuff like that. Do you help, or do you just keep watching?
I walk over and give some assistance, definitely.
Okay.
Without just a grunt, and then head over and just pull it over with the string.
Yeah, your strength is a lot to help, and you notice that as you do that, they kind of incorporate you and start teaching you a little bit about how to be on a ship and what to do and how to help, seeing that you're willing to help.
Mm-hmm.
Cypher.
And this does intrigue. Well, actually, this intrigues Mila, and Mila might shadow around and see what they're up to.
Nice. Cypher, what are you doing?
I am passing out.
Oh yeah, you passed right out. Okay, and with that, we're actually going to take like a 5 to 10 minute break. I may need more water. Doing someone's voice is hard.
Everyone needs some water,
Yes.
so I will be getting some water too.
So we will be right back, y'all. We are back. I should move this out of the way. So that way you guys don't have a giant light in front of your eyes. So we find all of you guys now leaving the harbor of Witherthorn on a man of war. I don't think you get any bigger of a ship really in this world than the Nefarian. Shirku's taken to learning how to go through and actually sail. Mila's watching over and paying attention to everything. Zastrava's playing with the band. Cypher's finally passed out after hours. And we find Asker in front of the first mate, the head mage, in front of his quarters. It takes a little bit. It's about an hour and a half, 2 hours, where you're still just sitting there waiting. Everyone else is going about their day. And you finally watch as Kai emerges below deck and sees you in front of his quarters. What does the little princess want?
To look at all of your books.
Now why would I let you see them?
Because I'm a princess?
So you think that just because you were born into royalty means that you get the whole world in the palm of your hands?
I mean, I'm not interested in the world, no, just books. It usually lets me have books in the palms of my hands. It's usually where I like them. I'll trade you a book, and she pulls out one of her books.
Which books are you after?
History, mostly. I heard that you might have some things on seafaring vessels and all of that kind of information as well.
He goes and pulls from his pocket a key. Make a persuasion check.
Asper's great at these.
That's why I have you do them. I don't think you've quite earned the ability to read my books yet.
Can I have a checklist of things to do to earn the ability to read the books?
Ask me on a nicer day and maybe you'll get a little further. I don't take kindly to people going through my wares, going through my books, just because they're interested. Most of them are of magic powers beyond your little the little mind can actually comprehend.
Are you a recycling wizard?
Oh no.
A recycling wizard?
Yeah, like Cypher is.
Oh no.
They're currently my new favorite kind of wizard. I feel like the kingdom's really missing out on them. I had never heard of them before, so that must mean that they are some kind of rarity thing. I've never seen them before in my books.
How does he choose to recycle?
I'm not really quite sure. We haven't gotten into the details yet.
Huh.
Well, I asked him what magical specialty was, because he said that you were a war mage, and so I asked him if he was a war mage, and he said, no, I'm a recycling mage. And so I had never heard of that before. War mages I've heard of in all sorts of stories, though.
Quick question. Cypher, your magic missile is in the shape of 3 skulls, right?
Yes. Yes, it was.
Oh.
3 screaming skulls, if we're going to be exact.
So he turned to necromancy. Huh. That's hilarious. I don't believe my spells would even do Cypher any good. Most of mine tend to be on the more destructive pattern. Either that or ways to go about buffing and repelling attacks.
Do most war mages have spells like that?
Most will. I'm one who specializes in, well, let's just say I'm able to give old Iron God a run for his money if we ever actually fight.
He's a very good fighter. I learned to fight from him.
I'm aware. I said I can give him a run for his money. He is definitely much better than I am. Make a
I will not.
insight check on that. Oh, I saw the 4 and I was like,
Yeah, so did I. I was like, that sounds about right for Asker.
You sense a little bit of disdain for Ironguard in his voice as he mentions the name. Now, if you don't mind, I'm going to enter into my quarters and prepare myself for the rest of the journey.
I will come and ask you again about books when the weather isn't raining. She walks away.
And you just sadly make sure it stays raining for the entire trip.
Everyone, if you wouldn't mind rolling a d20.
Getting to next days already?
20.
Why? Is there so many 4s?
4, 6, 8, 18.
So, as you guys are about an hour and a half out, you actually see Mila, your perception, I think, is... What's your passive?
Passive perception is 17.
Yeah, you catch it first since you're a little bit higher up, and you do notice that there's a watchtower for someone on the actual lookout who's looking forward, not really looking behind, but as that you're kind of following like what Shirku's doing. You see the bone ship is following you guys as you guys have left. They're keeping about a little bit of a distance. You're barely able to see them at the range with your normal eyesight. But
maybe around 800 feet.
Okay. And the Dragonborn still upper decks because it was just the other one that went down.
Yeah, he's right now at the helm. He's the one actually driving the ship.
Yep, so Mila will sort of crawl over, look over towards him, and if that doesn't get his attention, she's just going to reaching out and slowly poke pester.
What is it, little one? Sorry, I didn't do
And she'll point back and make a low, irritated clicking noise behind the ship.
I'll turn around and see it and be like, all men, prepare the cannons! And you guys still are within sight of land a little bit, and he just, and immediately the ship just starts to go on his side, and you almost for a second worry he's going to actually tip the man at war. But it just turns and is basically just sitting horizontally with the pirate ship, the bone ship,
and
coming.
Mila clings onto something and goes through a pulse of neon colors.
And Shirku, having been taught a little bit of this ship, tries to just go into a form of saddle footing and tries to catch and balance himself from falling over.
For
Let
a
this
second,
be like your first time on a boat.
and you guys most and Cypher, that would wake you up probably too, because that was an abrupt.
I had a feeling.
I'd probably throw him out of the bed.
A ship this size should not be able to churn that fast.
That is a fast turning ship. What is that rudder made out of?
And he's just going to wait. Good eye. And you watch as all of the men just, after holding on, they were also holding on for dear life, and actually a couple of them were almost overboard with it, because no one was ready for that.
Did I hear anyone go over?
Make a perception check.
Okay.
Ooh, can I tell too?
Yeah.
Because I want to try and check if everyone's around.
So 26.
Ooh.
You heard one person go, ah! And then you hear the thing on the side of like someone trying to climb up on the side of the ship.
Mila will, like, with claws, textured, fractured grip, head
Oh.
That's what she saw, and look around.
Looking down, you see the apprentice mage now trying to climb himself back out.
Mila will try to claw grabby.
Do I see Mila trying to help this guy?
Yeah.
I'd like to come over there and help him by using my halberd to try and let him grab onto the shaft.
He's about 30 feet beneath your halberd.
Well, he can make it. He can make it.
Because it is a man of war. It is. You guys are about 40 feet from the water.
I can't exactly fly, so he has to climb the rest of the way up.
Shirku, stay here, and Mila will, like, longer claws, like, digging in and crawl down and try to, like, push him up.
I could always try to use an echo to help with that, but...
Mila's able to help pretty easily. Ask her, where were you at now that you weren't in front of Kai's?
Asker probably would have walked back up towards the top deck, but she probably, like, with how quick this seems to have all been happening, like, she was in the doorway as this happened.
That's
just one of those, like,
Oh.
Asker's just looking out like, I'm really glad maybe I didn't step onto the deck yet.
Zastrava, you were able to catch yourself pretty easily. None of you guys really had too much trouble. Like, it was definitely a shock, but he's just going to be kind of waiting there and just kind of, and all you see now, all of the people are like lining those cannons and getting them all ready.
And considering you taught me, I'm going to help with those cannons. And considering I have a high enough strength, I'll just lift cannons. Or 'em.
You note that seeing what happened, it takes a little bit as you're watching the other ship. It kind of realizes that the man of war has stopped. And I would like, let's go, Zastrava, make an intimidation check for the ship.
We'll see. I make no promises.
I feel like yours is the most accurate.
Sometimes.
Okay. It keeps coming.
I'd be running away from a man of war.
You would think so.
Yeah.
But they're like,
Especially if it turned that fast.
You would think so.
How far away are they from us?
They're now about 600 feet.
Ah, okay.
And they're gaining.
That's close to my estimate.
I would like each of you to roll a d20 for me. Just a d20. As you guys are taking kind of the care of some of the attacks.
I'm just helping with making reloading faster.
Hey, I got a 4 this time.
Shirku and Zastrava, can you please roll me 20d20 or 20d10 each?
20d20?
As You just watch as he says, "Fire!"
10 d20. Got it.
20 d20. Or 20 d10. 20 d10.
I was gonna say, okay.
Yeah.
And
Thinking.
Oh, jeez. An 8? A 40 cannon man of war. Okay, then.
Damn you, sure.
oh, wow, Shirku. Okay. So, get out of my way. Hi, kitty. Goodbye, kitty. About all of the cannons that fire, about 2/5 of them end up hitting. And as they hit, and it was mainly because it was just about out of range, you watch as it starts to turn and go the other way.
Not bad. That's a lot of cannons hitting a boat ship.
They learned the error of their ways.
Mila skitters and camouflages somewhere.
Stupid pirates. And then he starts to turn, but since it's been at a stop, it's not as fast.
So many dice just filled the screen there.
Just a bit. Just a bit.
It took a second for it to calculate.
It is a lot.
I'm quite curious if that was an anchor turn.
Do you say that out loud, Shirku?
Yeah, considering he's been taught what an anchor was, sure.
The ones that have been teaching you kind of chuckle. Oh. And otherwise, they don't say anything else other than just laughing at what you said.
Because I know I'm wrong.
You're still new. There's much to this vessel that more than meets the eye. And they're going to go about teaching you the basics again.
Alright.
Anything else throughout the majority of the day? It is a rainy day throughout, but...
And I think Mila would go between sort of lurking around the Dragonborn at the helm to going to the water and seeing if there are any signs of anything familiar.
Make a perception check.
That's a 22.
Nothing familiar from your homeland, but there is stuff familiar from, different, like, as you've traveled throughout the water, you see some sharks and stuff like that around. Nothing too worrisome, though.
And yeah, Mila just occasionally peeks into the water, just crawling down the side,
Okay.
crawling back up.
I'm going to use Mila as the... By about the time where you guys, most of you start going back to sleep instead of just waking up, since I'm assuming you got back to getting some rest after the abrupt turn, Cypher? Okay. You guys watch as you get to that around where Mila's at now. One of the other mates comes up and takes over the captain's the sail. I can remember terminology, and starts controlling the ship. And then the captain, boom, thunders down and walks into his room and into his quarters. And then you watch as about 2 or 3 people come up with carrying a meal into his quarters, and then after they drop that off, they come back out and Princess Iron God, Admiral Gojira invites you to his quarters for dinner.
Asger just goes, he moves fast, I like that about him, and goes off to go have dinner.
That kitty looks so happy.
I know.
She is very, very happy.
You saw that. You could see that smile.
As you go into this quarters, it's very well kept together. What you would expect of someone who's been in the military basically his entire life. His armor has now been removed and is on what's it called? A dummy, a mannequin. And then he has his 2 swords on the wall right behind it. Which, getting a closer look at those are taller than you. Very easily.
Asger just looks at them and just goes, "How did you find a smith to make such a large weapon?"
And as you kind of say that, and you see and look over, and he has a nice, a very diverse array of food that you wouldn't necessarily expect to be in the sea, and in the ocean. And he's just in a little bit of more cordial decor. It's a family heirloom, one that even Gaelic has went through and allowed us to keep. It was from the legacy of Nefarian.
I think I know that one, actually.
He traveled with your great-great-great-grandfather for many a year. Those were the weapons that he used to help the ascension of Ellen. Why don't you sit and join me? I wish to hear what you are looking to accomplish in this foolish endeavor.
Asger sits down and just goes, "You have a very impressive spread of food as well. I must say, this is much better than texture soup that I've had most places."
I have a couple of clerics that take control of the feeding of our fleet. We not only have the 5 mages, which are all led by, the Eladrin, Kai, Aster, Rowan, Hawthorne, whichever one it is that day. We also have about 10 clerics, which see to the feeding and the healing of our crew.
You have quite the diverse crew on board.
We must be ready to take down Asta's forces whenever they may arrive.
Speaking of which, that ship maneuver you made earlier, I don't think I've ever seen a ship quite move like that.
It helps when the ship has multiple ways of movement.
Asger just gives a little head tilt, what?
And he rips into the main dish is a turkey, or what looks to be what was a turkey, and he rips off one of the legs, and his big dragonborn mouth just instantly removes it from the meat.
Asger starts getting herself a little plate.
It's something that we'll see if you all. It's a secret from most, but I guess you are the princess. The Nefarian is more than just a floating vessel, or it floats on more than just one dimension of water.
Is this kind of like Nefarian's boat from way back when, then? Did you copy the technologies over?
Maybe. Just maybe.
That's, very impressive.
Do you think that your little friends would be interested in joining us?
The crew that I came with? I sure hope so. Also, if they're stuck on this boat with me for more than a month, maybe they'll stick around longer than the last ones have.
Well, if we're going to Suicide Island, we'll be here for... This trip should take us about 3 weeks.
That will put us over my month. Also, how many humans on board do you have? Mila says that Paradise Island thing really doesn't like humans. So, like, you're safe, and I think I'm safe. I think I'm, like, human plus. I'm not quite sure what I am anymore.
The reason she says that is because everyone except for Anastasia, or not Anastasia, what's her name? Anastriana. Yeah, that's it, I think. I'm sorry. It's been a long time since I've heard the stories.
I've got you.
That Faye bitch decided to banish everyone. Because she's too... Sorry. She's too stuck up to actually have company. He, slams his fist on the table twice, and you watch as one of the crew opens. Gather the others. If that fool's still asleep, then he can wait to eat. Then you watch as Mila, you watch as some of the crew, after about 10 minutes after Asker has entered, comes to you, Shirku, Zastrava, and Cypher. You've now woken up a little bit. Still a little groggy.
Be fair.
And they bring you all to the quarter. And you guys see he does have a table that's big enough for all of you plus one more. And then as you all come in, he's like looking at you and waiting, like seeing how the first day of travel has taken most of you. Kind of looks over at Cypher, kind of like not very impressed by the going and falling asleep immediately.
And for Shirku, it's just another day in the work. It's just another day.
Eat, enjoy.
This is quite the feast.
Kind of similar to the Dragonborn. Mila will meekly wait a moment and then like nab some meat and just like tuck it in real fast.
Yep, and Shirku also immediately goes for the meat while giving him a nod and thanks.
Cypher prepares a nice plate for
balanced
himself.
So,
And he kind of watches as you do that. It's just like,
So, Siren, did you have a nice dream last night? Any more? Or Cyrus, sorry.
Cypher.
Cypher. Sorry.
No dreams. There was this rocking motion, and I woke up on the floor.
That's about what I expected. That was quite the maneuver.
It's something you get used to.
After being on the ship for so long, I bet.
There ain't no ship like the Nefarian. Nothing beats the pride of ship.
I can say the ship absolutely gets the princess seal of approval.
Good to hear. So what are you hoping to accomplish with the Fae bitch? He looks to you, Mila, as he says that. Anastriana, what are you hoping to accomplish there? She allows no visitors.
Oh no, we live together, and she'd asked me to come to the... And she like seems to lose her thought, and she's like, she had asked me to come here and make friends and see if Master Mirror Man was still alive, and then come back home.
Wasn't it something on information gathering?
Yes. Yes. And we had seen a thing with the Babel.
Master Mia has been gone for centuries, millennia.
Mm-hmm.
That might be changing.
But then Astriana wanted me to peekaboo around.
If you're familiar with the Master of the Mirror, or Mirror Master, we should probably let you know that as far as we're aware, both the Darvads, Zabrush, and Alastri have all been brought back.
The look on his face is of... It's hard to read a Dragonborn's look of like, what? Of incomprehension, but...
Maybe these fools don't know how to read, like, reptilian faces. But maybe Mila has a chance.
I feel like, actually, Zashava and Cypher might have a good chance as well. But for the other two, no.
I mean,
I
Shirko
chuckle
knows.
seeing his face.
I mean, Shirko knows some looks from Mila. They've been together long enough.
I don't think Mila's experienced something like this intense as far as feelings go.
True.
Whoops.
Are those names supposed to mean anything to me?
Oh,
They're Master Mirrors.
There was a woman who was attempting to bring them back through some cursed mirror thing, but we stopped her and she was executed for her crimes.
Meanwhile, Shirko's just kind of rubbing Christopher's nose.
I don't know those names by any supporter of the mirror needs to be destroyed.
From what information we gathered, it's their high-ranking disciples.
And they're back.
yes. One of them, well, now they're all undead, but one of them became undead originally. One of them is a Bodak. One was a vampire, and the other wielded a sickle. Sorry, two sickles, like, apparently never has been seen before.
And as for the ritual caster, I made sure she couldn't come back.
Yeah, and then Astriana wants Baobu's exiled from life, so I have to tell her that and about Master Mirror.
So you're telling me that 4 beings that are trying to support Mia are back and we just left them?
Yeah.
More likely teleported away, and we don't know where they're at. But otherwise, they're back here.
Teleportation means that they could be anywhere.
And you're not wanting to go to Rolla right now.
I mean,
Well,
I'm planning to go there after this trip, I figured. It sounds like Mila's god person-y, creator-y, not exactly Plomine person might be able to help us locate them.
I have nowhere to go, so I'm just along for the ride at this point.
and all we can hope is that Longreek doesn't change sides again.
But I'll eventually head back. For reasons.
Also, what kind of adventurer would I be if I just immediately ran home to great-great-great-great-great-grandpa as soon as some danger started?
You notice that
Part
ever
one.
since Zastrava said what she just said, he's been looking at her like, what did you say his name for? That...
I think you touched a sore spot, Strava.
Trust me.
Ayla's under the table, curling around the plant.
I want to make a reference right now, but that's all right. No, I can't.
Why did you say his name? That murderous little rodent needs to be eradicated.
This is why we must go see an Astriana. You know she is one that has enough power to deal with him if he's truly back.
He was supposed to be killed years ago.
Wasn't he always hard to kill in the original stories too?
Nefarian should have ripped his head off. He betrayed him.
Peeks over the table and it's like, what's this, Zastrava?
Well, when we spoke to Evelyn of the Black Quill, I believe, bookshop in town here. Well, when we were discussing our dreams with her, she mentioned that perhaps the colossal green dragon that I saw in mine, well, perhaps it could have been him.
Are we supposed to be
Weird.
talking about those dreams?
Where did you see this dragon?
As far as I'm aware, it would have been on the southern coastline.
Of Rolla?
Yes. So the sooner we get to Nostriana, the sooner we can take care of the rest.
Make a persuasion check with advantage, Zastrava.
Okay.
Tomorrow you're going to see things that I want you to never reveal to anyone. It is a secret of the Roland Empire.
Alright.
If I can't get a guarantee from each of you, then I will have your head on the spike.
Cypher and I are here supporting Asker. We would do nothing to harm her.
He looks to you, Cypher.
I am great at keeping secrets. I am.
He looks to you, Mila. Who's? Are you still like hiding under the table, or?
Mostly like, sort of like, what am I secreting?
You'll see tomorrow if you live.
No.
And then he looks to you, Shirku.
Who stares back before commenting? I don't talk to very many people.
He slams his fist on the table again, and you watch as one of the Navy very both pop in and is like, whichever of them is done resting should be back. It's been 4 hours. Bring them to me now. And he's like, closes the door and heads on down. About 5 minutes pass. Anyone making any conversation?
Asker's just like, is this the thing that we were just talking about? Because I'm very excited to see this.
Yes.
just following along in an intriguing way.
He grabs the other leg, rips it off, and in one bite,
Ooh. Mila's eyes like dilate and just like very impressed.
and you watch as he does the one bite, and you expect actually part of the bone to still be there after this.
Oh, no.
Last time there was.
I heard a crunch of bone.
Yeah, he's eating the bone this time.
And Mila's very impressed.
His teeth are fine with it.
Mm-hmm.
Sheriko takes another bite of some other chicken egg because the chicken legs are awesome.
Mm-hmm. Waters the plant.
It would be the wing, because the other legs are gone now. Both of the legs.
But yeah, he takes the wing then. But otherwise, as he eats, he kind of closes his eyes and kind of rests a bit, waiting, not really talking too much.
After about 5 minutes after the person went, you watch as the door opens and a female elf with large ears, blue skin, white hair. Hi. Hi. So many new people. Sorry, I didn't have time to read to catch up with what all happened. Is everything okay? Gojiro? Admiral? Of course it's you. We're going to be setting course tomorrow. We're going to be heading there a little bit faster than we were planning. Get caught up as soon as you can. Okay. You watch as she pulls out of the corner a large, looks like a journal, and like flips. It has a bookmark to a page like in the middle, and you watch as she just quickly is reading. She looks over you all. Esker, Cypher, Sistrava, okay, Shirku, and Mila? Kai's never very nice. She puts it back. Hi, my name's Aster. I hope that Kai wasn't too mean to any of you. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Aster, I like your name. It sounds a lot like mine.
Yeah, I'm just a little bit older than you. Sorry.
I'd say he was quite
Are you a secret?
What do you mean a secret?
Mila looks back with equal confusion.
And you were saying something, Shirku?
No, I'd say the Admiral was quite hospitable.
Oh, I wasn't. Admiral Gojira's normally very nice. I mean, if you try and kill people in front of him that aren't pirates, then yeah, you're probably dead. But
Dude, how about demons? Do those count?
Demons should be slain.
Then we have no problem.
It's Kai that I was worried about being too mean to you guys. I'm sorry that you got to meet him first.
Oh,
he's a little.
Okay? No, he was great. That was good work.
Yes, he was fine.
That's good. I worry about him sometimes. So I have to go prepare now. I guess we're gonna be flying tomorrow. And she walks out of the door.
Shirko opens his eyes again and raises one eyebrow.
It's a bit too far to get to the island from here.
You'll see in the morning.
Asker just goes, there's some really fun stories that we're about to be a part of, and they will never be put into a book, so be glad you get to be a part of these stories now.
Aren't you writing a book?
This part of the book will never be written.
Alright.
Well, he grabs a glass of mead and drinks it down instantly. Thank you for the information.
And thank you for the feast.
It's time you all go and get some rest. It's going to be a long day tomorrow. Gonna have... And you watch as he looks over, and you actually see a world map. Some of you for the first time. And as you're looking at it, you don't see... You see like where the paradise, or what some of you refer to as paradise, is marked out as like... it's not really like mapped out, that part, but there is like knowledge of there being something there. And he's watching it intently and is like, of course we need to go there first. Are you sure you can't just go to Rolla?
We both know that we would need someone of equal power to face him if he's truly back.
Galen's getting a little bit older. He's still very powerful, but...
Okay. I guess you're alright. Get some rest now.
Fine by me. And with that, Shirko gets some of meat of his own, because meat, and drinks that before heading off.
You watch as you guys start to leave, he goes and grabs one of his swords, and you see him pull out a stone and just start.
Sweet stone. You get rid of stress. It's a stress reliever.
Mm-hmm. As you guys exit his quarters, you see Aster's with all the mages, and she seems to be directing them to get ready and having them go to different spots and prepare things, gathering materials. She sees you all and is like... and continues going about her duty.
I return the nod. Or, well, she didn't tell me to nod, but still.
And anyone else have anything to do before going to sleep? Or staying awake? Or you...
Depends. Are there any more books on board? We might not see certain someone.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'll look at Cypher and go, look, I know you've already gotten some rest, and it looks like this one is much nicer than the one who she was before. I'm sure she might offer you some knowledge.
I mean, I haven't tried flying into it yet. I guess that could work. She might have some useful flight knowledge. Yeah.
Like, Kai said that they don't have much knowledge that you would be interested or useful in.
I'll decide if the knowledge is worthwhile or not, but I do appreciate his concern. Gonna kind of tag along with the flight people.
As you head over, Aster's like, oh, hi. Is there something that we can help you with?
I'm just here to learn. I'm guessing something that can make a ship like this fly has to be quite the interesting experience.
Are you experienced in magic at all, or?
Oh yes, I have a few tricks up my sleeve.
Are you familiar with Arcadia?
Yes.
It's similar to the magic we use for that. That's
by chance have books on this subject or samples of the spell work?
I mean, each of us has it committed to memory what we would need to do. I mean, besides, he's still learning a lot of things, so he's kind of just making sure the materials are there, but we basically just remember it and prepare it. It's a ritual, so it doesn't take too much.
If I were to get you a piece of paper and some pen, could you record this ritual down for me?
I might be able to.
Clearly a learning experience.
I might be able to, but I mean, I don't know if I should.
As one scholar to the other, what is knowledge if it is not shared?
Make a persuasion check with advantage. Because someone is very, not because you're necessarily persuasive.
$17.
I guess I could.
Oh.
Do you have any paper?
I think I do have some paper on me. I'm going to remove some paper and a quill from my nice little bag and hand it over.
She starts writing, and as you notice her writing, like, you've studied a lot of arcane lore, and you know that a lot of people do magic differently. Like, they'll write their runes differently, like, to hide things. She doesn't look like she's hiding it necessarily, but as she's writing it, you notice that it's almost like a different, like, her words and her cadence of writing is different than anything you've ever read. It's almost foreign, like it's not natural to the world how she writes. As she goes through and writes it, she takes about 30 minutes to fully write out everything, and she's like, here you are.
I thank you. This will be a great thing to study tonight to help pass the time.
Yeah. I mean, if you want, you can also partake and help him out in gathering all of the materials.
I think I will.
And she set you about to going through and working on the materials and stuff like that.
I'm going to record the materials needed for this.
Yep, not a problem. You actually noticed that the materials aren't... You thought, like, you'd be dealing with other... It's a green, like a bluish green powdery, like, almost feels like a stone, but it's like a powder stone. And they're putting it at different parts of the ship, like lining it almost.
Okay.
Make an Arcana check. You would recognize this as residuum.
Alright.
And as you're looking at it, it's about 50,000 GP of residuum as your estimate after you've done all of the putting everything there and what you're calculating everyone else is putting.
He's thinking that to himself, like, that's an expensive spell.
Maybe. Just maybe. So everyone else goes to rest?
Did you have a good day, Mila? Experiencing this ship?
Yeah, it is very loud, but it's nice.
Cannons were loud, weren't they?
Mm-hmm. And the Dragonborn.
Oh, he has to be allowed to be able to make sure everyone on the ship can hear him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right. I'm just need to lay down.
Yeah, go lay down and get some rest.
And so she will.
Sleep well, Mila. With that, Shirku will also go find somewhere to rest, and for some reason prefers the hard floor over the bed.
Nice.
Yeah, I think we were in given a room with like 4 beds, so
It works.
I'll flop on a bed and drift off.
So there's one bed free.
As you all enter a nice, calm sleep, Shirku.
Yep.
You're awakened, or at least what you think awakened, to a quiet, foggy ship. You get up off the floor. You don't see anyone else around.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do?
Immediately be on guard if it's completely foggy and nowhere else is there.
No one.
Something's off. So I'm going to try and take a look around the room first before head further to see if there's evidence of something happening during the night.
Are you heading down deeper or up to the top of the ship?
Run through the room to see if anyone's been dragged off somewhere or something, but let's
You find no one as you're looking. The beds are empty.
Yeah,
you hear no
evidence.
sound. Not even like the.
Yeah.
You'd expect to hear like a sound of waves like hitting. You don't even hear that.
Okay, that makes me curious. So yeah, let's go up top.
As you open the top, you see a dark and vast night in front of you. Still foggy, like where you're at, but you can see the sky. And about 20 steps in front of you is a long black hair, coming to about yay length, male, in a black dress coat. His eyes. Make a wisdom save.
Oh crap. Alright, wisdom save. Oh dear.
His eyes appear a cold, piercing, dark black that you can't really see into. It almost looks like the void. Pleasant features. He looks to you. You've done my work well, child. But you haven't slain any of the demons anytime soon. Oh, Malphus is gonna be able to break free if you don't keep him busy. I don't need anyone seeing what I'm doing in the world. Why don't you go back to slaying demons? Fey witches don't need to be bothered. Why are you venturing here?
Why? To see something different, I suppose. And based on those words and what's going on, I can assume that you're the Mirror Man.
You're smart after many years. And you watch as his eyes change from the cold, piercing dark of the void to both are actually similar to the symbols of the mirror, like the broken mirror with the 5 different spots, cracks that reach out. So intelligent you are to be able to pick that out. I'm curious, so curious as to why you were able to pick that out so fast.
That's a feeling, I suppose.
You've done my work so well by keeping his little minions distracted. You wouldn't want to break our deal now, would you?
Deal?
Yes. The deal you were born... Oh. She never told you. You wouldn't want anything bad to happen to your mother now, would you?
My mother's still alive?
Oh. You know so little. That's not my fault that the deal was broken then. I guess I'm going to have to go and collect. I do have 4 more minions that are free to roam, I guess. I'll just have to let Ikaru know to pay a visit to Pyrehelm.
And
Well,
do you know where she is right now?
oh, in Pyrehelm, of course. I've always known where she is. I know where all of my little minions are. It's the reason I know you're leaving. I'm not very pleased with you. Killing Lenora was one thing. Leaving and no longer keeping the fool distracted with the loss of his little toys and playthings, that I just can't not do. You're trying to bring in little whiny Faye into this now too. Tut tut tut. Well, Hikaru will have fun. It is a pleasure getting to speak with you. I'll see you next time. Keep pulling on those strands of fate that you do. It's so pleasant to see the work you do. And as he says that, you feel the ship beneath you vanish as you just start falling into pitch black.
Oh dear. So many name drops that I remember.
And you wake up. Everyone else is still asleep, but you feel the cold sweat on your body running down.
Yeah, so with that he kind of after just snapping his eyes awake and sitting up after a moment, catching his breath. He places a hand on his forehead and gives a long drawn-out sigh. Fire helm. That changes things.
And the night passes. Shirku, did you wake anyone, or did you just go back to sleep? Because you could still feel a little sleepy.
I write down my dream before I do it, in case I randomly forget during the night.
Smart idea. You all awaken, mostly all well rested. Cypher, I'm assuming you went to bed after working on some of that? Yeah, okay. It's still like the crack of dawn, 6 a.m., and you hear a lot of commotion as people are going around. As you all come to the top after getting ready, you notice that no one's really doing any food right now at the moment. As you all get to the top, I don't know who would be there first. But
Asker up early.
Asker's the early bird. You watch as everyone's like getting the sails ready, and like everyone, you've noticed that you're now out of sight of the land. And as the last of you guys get up, all hands prepare! And you feel, as he says that, you hear a couple of people chanting, the mages. And then you feel the waves stop hitting the bottom of the Man at War. And rising into the sky, you now see you with speeds that you wouldn't think is possible still. It's kind of with how fast like he went through and did the churn, kind of how fast you guys are rising. As you now find yourselves flying over the ocean towards what some refer to as Paradise Island. And I think that's where we're going to end the session tonight.
I'm so glad that this boat is.
Oh man, that's going to be pretty wild.
Just a little bit.
It's just like they have a giant bird.
And now my character has a reason to go back home.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Well, I thank you all very much for joining us. I hope you've all had a wonderful time. And, well, we will see you all next Tuesday.
So,
Bye-bye.
Bye.